Emmy stood frozen in place, her heart pounding loudly in her chest. The weight of the situation pressed down on her, suffocating her. Tulu was standing in front of her, his hands raised as if to protect her, but his face was full of guilt and fear. The man who had blocked her in the cafe just days ago stood behind him, his eyes cold and calculating. Every instinct told her to run, to get as far away from this place as possible, but something deep within her urged her to stay and fight for the truth. "Emmy, please," Tolu said, his voice breaking. "You don't understand. You have to leave. It's too dangerous." The stranger behind Tolu stepped forward, his presence towering over her. "It's too late for that. You're already involved. You've seen too much." Emmy's eyes darted between the two of them. What was going on? She had always trusted Tulu, but now he was pleading with her to go. And this man, the man who had been watching her, the man who had blocked her path in the cafe, what was his role in all of this? Was he part of some organization that Tulu was involved with? Was he someone to be feared? "You need to leave, Emmy," Tolu repeated, his voice growing more desperate. "This isn't just about us. There are things going on that I can't explain. Things that could get us both killed." Emmy took a step forward, her voice shaking with a mixture of fear and anger. "I don't care about what's happening between you two. I care about the truth, Tulu. You've lied to me from the beginning, and I deserve to know what's going on." Tolu's face tightened, his eyes filled with pain. "I never wanted to hurt you. I swear I didn't. But there are people out there who will stop at nothing to make sure you don't get involved in this. If you keep pushing, they'll come after you. And I can't let that happen." The man behind Tulu crossed his arms, his lips curling into a sneer. "She's stubborn, I'll give her that. But it doesn't matter. The truth is irrelevant now. We have our orders." Emmy's mind was racing. Orders? What did that mean? And who were these people who could control Tulu, who could make him afraid to speak the truth to her? "Orders," Emmy repeated, her voice rising. "From who? What's going on here? Who are you and why are you threatening me? I deserve answers, Tulu." For a moment there was silence. Tulu looked at her, his face etched with conflict. He opened his mouth to speak, but before he could say anything, the man behind him spoke again, his voice low and menacing. "It's over, Tulu," the stranger said. "She knows too much now. She won't walk away from this, and neither will you." Tolu turned to the man, his face filled with frustration and helplessness. "I told you, I won't let her get caught in this. I'll deal with it my way." The man scoffed, shaking his head. "You think you can protect her? You think they'll just let her go? You've seen what they're capable of, Tulu. They don't care who gets hurt." Emmy's eyes flicked between Tulu and the man. Who was they? This was no longer just a fight between her and Tulu. There were others involved, dangerous people with power, and they were coming for her. She could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on her more and more with every passing second. Tulu took a step closer to her, his voice softer. "Emmy, you have to listen to me. Please. You don't know what's at stake. I've been trying to protect you. I never wanted you to get caught up in this." Emmy shook her head, tears welling in her eyes. "You lied to me, Tulu. You pushed me away, and now you want me to believe you? You've been hiding something from me, and I deserve to know what it is." Tolu's face crumpled with guilt. "I wanted to tell you, but I couldn't. They won't let me. If I say anything, they'll hurt you. They'll make sure you never see me again." The man's expression hardened, and he stepped forward. "Enough talking. We're done here." Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the air seemed to grow colder. Emmy felt a chill run down her spine, and before she could react, the door to the building burst open. A group of men in dark suits stormed in, their faces masked, their movements swift and coordinated. Tulu's eyes widened, and he turned to face the new arrivals. No, this wasn't supposed to happen. Not like this. Emmy's breath caught in her throat as the men surrounded them. She could see the fear in Tulu's eyes now, real, raw fear. Whatever was happening, it was bigger than anything she had imagined. The man who had been speaking to her earlier, one of the masked men, grabbed Tulu by the arm, pulling him away from her. "We warned you, Tulu. You've gone too far." Tulu struggled, trying to break free, but the men were too strong. "You can't do this," he shouted. "I won't let you hurt her." The man looked at Tulu with cold eyes, then turned to Emmy. "You should have left when you had the chance, girl," he said, his voice dripping with contempt. "Now you're part of the game, and there's no going back." Emmy's head spun. Game? What did they mean by that? What was this really about? Who were these men, and why were they after her? Tulu's voice was hoarse as he pleaded with the men. "Please, don't hurt her. She doesn't deserve this. This is my mess. I'll fix it. Just let her go." But the men were relentless. One of them turned to Emmy, his eyes narrowing as he spoke. "We've been ordered to keep you under control. The sooner you understand that, the better." Emmy felt a surge of panic rise within her. She had no idea who these people were, or what they wanted from her. But she knew one thing for sure. Her life was in danger. She had no choice now but to play their game. The only question was, how far was she willing to go to find the truth, and to survive? Emmy's heart raced as the masked men closed in on her. She felt trapped, her back against the cold, brick wall of the building, with nowhere to run. Tulu was still struggling in the grasp of one of the men, his face contorted with fear and anger, but there was nothing he could do. "Please, don't hurt her," Tulu shouted, his voice desperate. He looked at Emmy with pleading eyes, as if he were begging her to understand something. "I'm sorry, Emmy. I never wanted any of this." The man who had been speaking to her earlier stepped forward, his face now inches from hers. His cold, calculating eyes made her skin crawl. "You're too involved now," he said, his voice low and dangerous. "And you won't be walking away from this. Not unless we say so." Emmy tried to gather her strength, but fear made her legs tremble. She wanted to run, to scream, but her voice was stuck in her throat. "Who are you people?" she finally managed to ask, her voice trembling. "What do you want from me?" The man smirked. "What we want doesn't matter anymore. You're in the game now, and once you're in, there's no getting out." Emmy's mind raced. She had been dragged into something so much darker than she could have ever imagined. These people weren't just threatening her, they had a plan, and she was a part of it. But why? Just then, the door to the building opened again. A tall figure stepped inside, someone who looked far more important than the others. He didn't wear a mask, and his presence was imposing. He glanced at Emmy, his eyes narrowing. "Let her go," he said, his voice commanding. "She's not the one we're after." The masked man who had been holding Tulu stepped back, confusion flickering in his eyes. "But sir, she's already seen too much," he argued. The tall figure shook his head. "No, we've been instructed to keep her alive. She's still useful. Let her go." Emmy felt a wave of relief wash over her, but it was short-lived. There was more to this than she understood, and she knew they weren't done with her yet. As the tall man turned away, he gave her one last, cold look. "Stay out of our way and you'll stay alive. Keep digging, and there will be consequences." Emmy's heart hammered in her chest as the men began to leave, dragging Tulu with them. She didn't know what had just happened, but one thing was clear. She was deeper in this than she ever thought possible. Emmy stumbled out of the building, her legs weak and her mind swirling with unanswered questions. She was shaken, but somehow she had been spared this time. The masked men had let her go, but their words haunted her. "Stay out of our way and you'll stay alive." It was a warning. As she stepped into the cold night air, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. Her breath came in shallow bursts, her heart still racing from the encounter. She had no idea who these people were or what they wanted, but one thing was clear. She was now tangled in something far bigger than herself. Tulu's face kept flashing in her mind. He had begged her to leave, to forget everything. But could she really walk away? She had to know the truth. She couldn't just let it go, not after everything that had happened. Emmy quickly made her way home, but as she opened the door, she froze. Her apartment was darker than usual, the silence overwhelming. She walked inside slowly, her eyes scanning the room. And then she saw it. On the coffee table was a small envelope, unmarked. Her name was written in elegant handwriting. With trembling hands, she picked it up and opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper with a simple message. "You're not alone. Help is closer than you think." Emmy's pulse quickened. Who was sending these messages? And why now, when things were spiraling out of control? Before she could process anything further, the sound of her phone vibrating interrupted her thoughts. She grabbed it quickly, hoping for some kind of answer. The message on the screen was from an unknown number. "They're coming for you. Trust no one." Her heart skipped a beat. Was this the help she had been waiting for? Or was it another trap? Emmy was running out of time, and the walls were closing in faster than she could handle. Emmy's hands shook as she read the message again. "They're coming for you. Trust no one." Her heart pounded in her chest, and for the first time, she felt truly alone. She couldn't escape the feeling that someone was watching her, waiting for the right moment to strike. The warning wasn't just a vague threat anymore. It felt real. Every noise in her apartment seemed amplified. Every shadow in the corner of her I felt like a lurking danger. She couldn't ignore it any longer. She had to find out who was behind these messages. She glanced at the envelope on the coffee table again, her mind racing. Who could have sent it? Was it connected to the tall man from the building? Or was someone else involved? And what did "help is closer than you think" mean? Suddenly, her phone buzzed again. This time it was a call. She hesitated for only a moment before answering. "Emmy," a familiar voice said. It was Tulu. Her heart skipped, a mix of hope and anger flooding her at the sound of his voice. "Tolu, what is going on? Why are they after me? What did you get yourself into?" He sighed deeply on the other end. "I don't have much time to explain, Emmy, but I've made mistakes. Big ones. There are people who won't stop until they get what they want, and right now that's you." "I don't understand," she cried, her frustration bubbling to the surface. "What do they want from me? What do I have to do to get out of this?" "Listen," Tolu said urgently, his voice frantic. "You can't keep asking questions. You have to trust me. I'm going to help you. But you need to leave now. Don't go back to your apartment. It's not safe anymore." Before she could respond, the call cut off, leaving her in stunned silence. Emmy stood there, staring at the phone, trying to process what had just happened. Was he really going to help her? Or was he pulling her deeper into something she wouldn't be able to escape? The silence in the apartment was deafening, and Emmy knew one thing for sure. She couldn't stay there any longer. She had to move. But where? Who could she trust? And what was waiting for her if she didn't act fast? Emmy packed her things in a hurry, throwing clothes and essentials into a bag, her mind spinning. Tolu's warning echoed in her mind. "Don't go back to your apartment. It's not safe anymore." She had no idea what was really happening, but she knew she couldn't ignore it any longer. With her bag in hand, she headed for the door, her heart racing. The message, "Help is closer than you think," lingered in her thoughts. Who could she turn to? Was Tulu really trying to protect her? Or was he just another part of the tangled web she had found herself in? As she stepped out into the night, the streetlights flickering above her, Emmy's phone buzzed. It was a message from the unknown number again. "Go to the old warehouse by the docks. You'll find the answers you're looking for." Her stomach churned. The docks? It sounded like a trap, but it was the only lead she had. She couldn't ignore it now. She had to find out what was going on, no matter the cost. Emmy made her way to the docks, her senses heightened, every shadow making her jump. The air was thick with tension, and as she approached the old warehouse, she saw a figure standing in the doorway. It was Tulu. "Emmy!" He stepped forward, his face filled with relief. "You made it." "Why here, Tulu? What's going on?" she demanded, her voice trembling. "Who are these people, and what do they want with me?" Tulu looked around, ensuring no one was following them. "The people chasing us, they're part of something much bigger. I wasn't just trying to protect you. I was trying to protect myself, too. You see, I didn't just push you away because I didn't care. I did it because I was afraid of what they would do to both of us if you got involved. Emmy's mind raced. So you did care? I've always cared, Tulu said softly. But I wasn't strong enough to protect you. I thought I could keep you safe by keeping you away from everything. I was wrong. Just then, a loud noise broke the tension. A black car screeched to a halt nearby, and masked figures poured out, rushing toward them. They're here, Tulu shouted. We need to move now. Without thinking, Emmy grabbed his hand, and they ran. The sound of footsteps grew louder as they sprinted down the dark alleys. Tulu was pulling her along, desperate to get her to safety. They reached a dead end with no way to go but up. Up the fire escape, Tulu yelled, pointing to a metal ladder that led to the roof. They climbed quickly, the men behind them getting closer with every second. When they reached the roof, Emmy looked around, but it felt like there was no way out. Tulu pulled her toward a narrow ledge. This way, we'll lose them. As they ran, the sound of the men's voices echoed below, but the chase had become a blur. She had no idea how much time had passed, but with each step, it felt like they were getting closer to the end of whatever this was. Finally, they reached a hidden rooftop. Tolu stopped, breathing heavily, and turned to face her. You're safe now, he said quietly, looking into her eyes with something more than just apology in his gaze. You were right. You deserved to know the truth, and I should have told you everything. Emmy stood there, her heart pounding but finally feeling something she hadn't felt in so long: relief. The danger wasn't over yet, but for the first time, she felt like maybe, just maybe, they could make it through this. As the first light of dawn began to break over the city, Tolu pulled her into a hug. I'm sorry, Emmy. I'll make things right. I promise. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to believe in that promise, knowing that whatever came next, they would face it together. The truth had come at a cost, but it had set her free.